In the last video, we checked out the 5 parties who are exempt from registration. We'll now look into the people who are liable to register. There are 3 broad categories under which you can place the people who are liable to register. The first is that they are all registered under existing law. That is, they are registered under the Excise Act, Service Tax Act, GST or VAT laws, the existing indirect tax structure. The second category is where it's based on a threshold limit of aggregate turnover in any financial year. And the third one is mandatory registration, irrespective of the threshold limit, whether they cross the limit or not. These people are supposed to register. So we can call these as automatic registration, conditional registration, and mandatory registration. So the first case is for every person who, on the day immediately before the GST comes into effect, is registered or holds a license under any of the earlier laws. So such people are liable to be registered, and in fact they'll be automatically registered under GST based on their PAN. They'll have to fill out only the enrollment form and not the application form, and therefore automatic registration for the first category. It's a simple, straightforward category. Coming to the second one, the conditional category, which is based on a threshold limit. We've already seen this earlier. There are 2 broad classifications: rest of India and special category of states. For the rest of India, that is all the states excluding the special category, the aggregate turnover limit is 20 lakhs. In any financial year, if the aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs, then such person is liable to get registered under GST. The second category of special states, the aggregate turnover limit there is 10 lakhs. In any financial year, if a taxpayer in this special state exceeds 10 lakh aggregate turnover, he is liable to register. So which states fall under the special category? There's Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, all of the northeast, and Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. These are the special categories of states based on the Constitution of India. Now we have already seen what aggregate turnover is. We need not dive deep into it. It includes all of taxable, exempt, exported, interstate supplies, but does not include taxes or inward supplies of a person having same PAN. Now, when you consider aggregate turnover, there are 2 special situations that you need to keep in mind. Situation 1 is related to principal agent and situation 2 is related to principal job worker. So there's a principal who effects his supply through his agent. The agent supplies the principal's goods to the final consumer. Then there's the second situation where the principal gives his products, his supplies to a job worker to improve it, to work on it, and the job worker in turn effects supplies of the final product to the consumer. In the first situation, where the agent supplies goods, this supply would be added onto the aggregate turnover of the agent. This means that for an agent, the aggregate turnover would include all supplies made by that taxable person, whether on behalf of his principal or on his own account. Both these supplies would be included. Coming to the second situation of the job worker. In this case, the supply will not be added onto the job worker's aggregate turnover, but it will be included in the principal's aggregate turnover. So the principal's aggregate turnover, in case of the principal-job worker relationship, the principal's aggregate turnover would include the supplies by the job worker and the supplies he makes on his own account. So, the points to remember under conditional registration is that the registration is compulsory based on an aggregate turnover limit of 20 or 10 lakhs based on whether the supplier is in rest of India or in the special category of states. while you are considering aggregate turnover, you include the principal supply and your own supply if you are an agent. If you are a job worker, then you do not include the principal supply. The principal will have to include both his supply and the job worker's supply. So these were the provisions relating to conditional registration. In the following few videos, we'll check out the third category of mandatory registration.